I'm Jason Moss here, JP Moss. It's either way you know me. You buy my books, it's JP Moss. Hang out with me, or Jason Moss. Then we enter the realm of the super soldier in my memories from the 1990s. And I recall very, very small details about them. I know on one occasion I'm with a unit and I'm shouting something like, "Let's do what we're made to do." And we were going up against some force. And we were in combat gear. I don't know. It's foggy. I don't got it all. So after the psychological came the medical experimentation, which led to training. And that was training films. And you're going to say, what is the element? I was joking with my son about this. I said, you hardly imagine me being a super soldier looking at me. You know? It's like saying Don Knotts is a super soldier, you know. But in seriousness, I think the super soldier, to me, what made them so ultimate was the fact they could be triggered through code phrases. And they would do anything in their power to make sure that mission would succeed. Now bear in mind that the Marine Corps and Navy SEALs and SAS commandos in England, in Great Britain rather, they pushed people for months and months physically through the most unbelievable amount of physical hell you could ever imagine to reach the mind and make these people disciplined to follow orders given to them. You could almost call them super soldiers after 6 months of hard training to be a Green Beret, Army Ranger, Green Beret. It takes about that long. That's just the entry part of the exam. You pass the 6 months, you have 2 years ahead of you to be a Green Beret in the Special Forces. But that's just to put your body through that, because congressionally and legally they can't touch the mind the other way around. The Super Soldier Program, now you begin to get the idea how scary this is. The Super Soldier Program of the CIA, MKUltra, they come along and they can go through the mind first and then reach the body and give a command and code phrase. And that person will follow whatever they're told to do to the absolute umpteenth of their ability. I mean, you think, well, what kind of damage could a little guy do? I'm not a little guy, but what could a damage, someone who hasn't had that kind of physical training and endurance do? I don't even want to go into speculating that. You know, I really don't want to talk about that, because you could be. Let me just remind you of those people that have done horrible things. You know, that just unbelievable, made the news media. And these are some of these could have been super soldiers that were being detonated, they were being activated, and to do incredibly bad things. I'm not saying that I would ever do that, and I'm not trained to. I said I don't feel I was ever trained to kill anybody. I'm not really sure how it works. Did we kill anyone? That's a question you may ask yourself. We killed something. I know we were battling something. And there isn't any paycheck in this. They keep everything off the books. They do this without any record. Paychecks lead to books. There may be people that were paid in this, but not everybody is going to be paid in this. And so they want to keep things off the books. Now, Project MKUltra had a sub-project called Project Monarch, and a lot of you are laughing at this lady named O'Brien, who published a book. No one believes her. And she says that in Project Monarch. Well, let me first tell you what someone told me about Project Monarch. Project Monarch dealt with the controlling of women. And just like the butterfly, Monarch Butterfly, there's the pupus, the cocoon. And what they would do is they get somebody, a female, into a small room with some men, put her through an extremely stressful period of sexual assault and attack, with a human behavior expert sitting there telling them off, or controlling their mind. Breaking this woman down, her mind becomes soup. When she emerges from this, what they do is they give her a lot of permissive behavior modification. They tell her what is acceptable behaviors and attitudes that they find acceptable, and behaviors and responses to things in life, and what is not acceptable will be punished. And so first of all, before they do any of the punishment, they break them right down. And I've researched on Monarch, and I was told this by someone who said she was a victim of Project Monarch. And this person told me that they broke her right down. Her mind was like soup, like the inside of a cocoon. Then when they rebuild her from the inside of this little area, she emerged like a butterfly with wings. She came out. That's Monarch, the Monarch Butterfly. She's now emerging into the world with a whole new personality, she's now this person going out in the world. That's what Monarch is. MKUltra was the overall project that dealt with mind control. I was not CIA. I was never willing to do any of this. I didn't sign up for this. And the lady that told me about being in Monarch, I've spoke of her in previous videos. Very sadly. But they managed to turn her back out into the world. And she was now this person. And under a command and a code, what they do to these people is that they then become like robots. And of course, handlers are there, and they're because a lot of times this was for just for someone's gratification and pleasure. Shocking as this stuff sounds, what you're hearing on YouTube videos, a lot of other people are taking this public. You need to listen to these ladies. Listen to them a lot. Now, I was never used. People like me would never have been used in any kind of assault sexually in any way at all. They just wouldn't. They would never do that. It would be counterproductive to everything they were trying to brainwash us with. It would be counterproductive. The super soldier has to be conditioned for combat and following commands. You can't have that kind of, it's called vital connection. Vital human connection. You are denied the vital connection, which is social, like kissing, holding, or any kind of physical contact would then result in, it would result in a kind of a dislodging or breaking. They need you isolated. Where the women in Monarch, they take off under MKUltra, and they would have them gang raped with a guy, brainwashing them through this experience, because it was very, very stressful for a woman to go through something like this and break her. The men, they found the other way around. You had to isolate them. You had to show them images of women being hurt like that. Like this. We had to be exposed to this. And that was part of the conditioning. It was to say, I can barely remember being strapped in a chair and told, things like, you're worthless, you don't deserve anybody, you're not going to have anyone, you're not going to have anybody in your life, you're crap, you're a loser, while being made to watch that kind of graphic material. And it might even be them doing it in the video, but the woman's not present. That's what I got when I saw that video of this Maria lady. This is what I was being told. I wasn't just standing there with a gun to my head. They were telling me this. In fact, I think I was in a chair. And I was scared. I was so scared. And it does make you feel less of a person. You feel more like machinery. This is really scary, folks. It's really, really creepy. You feel more like, you feel like a equipment. This is part of healing, is to get it out in the open. And bring it out from your mind, and of course fill up notebooks and write it all down. Write everything down. No matter what it is. Never edit what comes out. Don't ever let anyone tell you you're crazy. Don't edit anything. Let it come out. But like I said, not everybody went through the training and survived. There were those that went insane and broke during training. They broke. They were probably never seen again. Disappeared in the 1990s. There are people that broke and committed suicide or went to drug use and died. Obviously, if you died in a mission, where were these missions taking place? Good question. I don't know why, but I think South America. And it might have been a day, couple of days, an hour, a few hours. You might have been abducted and went out for about 10 hours. You were flown down there to the Colombian drug cartel and you did some kind of a damn secret covert CIA commando mission. And you don't need to have the most athletic body to be this person. This is what's really scary. You just have to have the mind, which is switched into that kind of, that mode. And then they give you the equipment and send you out there. You don't come back, oh well, you're off the books anyways. You're an expendable, literally. But without any identity, without any life. Now there were probably people that were paid, and they were on the books. And I praise those people coming forward and talking. First of all, let me say to the CIA people talking on YouTube, you have my support. Thank you for speaking up. I don't hate you. I'm not, you know, I can't forgive the ones that hurt my mother, Annette. I don't know if I ever will. I could find it within me to forgive the ones that hurt me. I don't know if I can ever forgive the ones that hurt this Maria. I am not a dangerous person. I'm not going to go out. I'm not going to hurt people. I'm not. It's been a lot of years. I've been out of it a long time. The memories are coming back. So I'm out. During the Gulf War, American government during the Bush years wanted to open up CIA torture camps in England. 2003-04. The British government, British intelligence, MI6, as I understand it, and I've had people tell me this firsthand, said they told them nothing to do it. You're not doing that. And well, we got a contract. A mutual aid agreement contract between NATO allies. And they broke it. That's classified. Apparently they broke it. It's gone. And they annihilated that contract so they couldn't do it. So there isn't any kind of cooperation running with these agencies anymore. The alliance is there, but not the intelligence sharing, gathering, and cooperation on soil like this. Oh yeah, they still got people over here in the CIA, but not what they used to have. They haven't got that anymore. That's gone. And George Bush Jr., we can thank him for that. For once we can thank him for something, because then I can come to you with this account. Otherwise, I don't think I'd be sitting here today. They were running operations on me, even in England. We were in an apartment down the road in the year 2000. And there was a guy that came to the flat to service the radiators. Yeah, he was a British guy. And then I spent a few weeks with these things burning super hot and I couldn't get them off. I was dehydrating. And I went to the hospital a few times, kept going to the hospital. My doctor ignored it. He was told to ignore this. And I came out of that hospital, and I kept coming home. What am I going to do? I'm dying. I got to get out of this apartment. And I didn't really suspect it was the radiators because they were what's called storage heaters. So they don't really give off a lot of heat. They heat the room up. And they're not connected to any kind of a circuit. So when they're off, no one else is going to know they're off in your apartment building. Well, I finally called this one nurse on a hotline. I said, I need some advice on how to deal with dehydration. I'm not really getting any help here. She just says, I got to tell you something. She says, turn off your storage heaters, Jason. And I'm like, how the hell do you know that? I didn't even think twice, and I found they were on full blast. I was being cooked. I got them off. I had to cut the cables to these suckers. I mean, they were not connected. It was just a power cable. They're not connected to anything in the building. These are really old buildings. A day later, the maintenance man shows up. Mean look on his face. I've been told to come here and service your heaters now. And I said, I didn't call you. My wife didn't call you. I was married then. Open the door. I need to service them now. And I said, you're not coming in here. I didn't call you. And my neighbor across from me came out and said, what's the problem? And he ran the guy off. He ran the guy off. And it was really creepy. I mean, how the hell... He put his foot in the door. He insisted to come in and get him back on. And I'd called the ambulance a dozen times. I was having troubles. They were hitting me again. That was another one of those call-outs, dozen-time ambulance. Touch wood, since 2000, I haven't had those kind of issues. I touch wood. That's a long time ago. But then again, that's around the time when the contracts ended. Anyways, that came right after 1999 when I was working as a security guard. And I think I told you in one of my videos that my mother, Annette, had contacted me from Bakersfield, California. She called me at my job. She could barely talk. Bless her heart. And our phone chat was barely 17 minutes long. And she kept saying, do you remember me? Do you remember me? And the voice is familiar. And I'm like, I was glad she called. It was coming back to me. And I was going to say, Annette. She said, what's my name? What's my name? And she sounded like she was being forced into this. And I felt worried for her. If I say your name, what happens to both of us? Because they'd used the technology on me in the 90s that would cause amnesia, concussion. I think they found that I was out of the country, and they didn't like it. I was out of their reach. So they had her call me at my job. She was very, very bad off with multiple sclerosis. She could barely talk, and they were making her do that. Probably forced the couple into cooperation. I mean, don't blame Glenn Holt for anything. He's a good man. But you got a gun into your head, your wife's in a wheelchair, what are you going to do? About 6 or 7 armed guys standing in your house. That's what I think was going down. This is very serious what I'm bringing you guys. This is extremely serious stuff. Even in a wheelchair, these sick bastards in the agency would come out and do this to Annette. Yes, they would. Absolutely. I know this is shocking. Some of you may find it too hard to listen to. Or you just don't know what to believe. You're like, what the hell? They were not making her life comfortable, even in the end. And, of course, I didn't say Annette to her on the phone. I was scared for her safety. I was beginning to remember the voice. I'm like, I think I know this voice. And I was glad to get the call. I said, can you call me in my apartment? Can you call me? And then she says, if you won't deal with me, then you're not going to deal with those kids. I'll tell them not to deal with you. And I said, no, don't hang up. Don't hang up. I know who you are. I can't. I'm worried. And I said, can you call me at my apartment? And it didn't resonate with her. She was very sick, very multiple sclerosis. It was really, really good. She was having a hard time. And the phone call ends. And I was visited by the CIA in my job by 2 officers in the next couple of days. And I was a security officer with Group 4 Security, and I played it up. They said they were CIA, and I said, I'm not going to deal with you until you show me ID. And the woman said, I don't want to show you ID. And then she pulls out, and the guy says, just go along with it. It's a security checkpoint. I got them. And they pull out their ID cards. And it's, yeah, laminate ID. They were CIA. I was a security officer with Group 4. And I got them into showing me ID. I'm a witness. And they wanted to see my passport. So I cooperated. The next day, brought it up to work. And they saw my passport. And the woman looked at my passport. As I said, I think another video, half dozen times I've said this. She's looking, peering over my passport. And she looks at me and she says, Michael. And she's waiting for me to see if I resonate with that, if I remember what she's on about. Of course, I didn't say anything. It was a staged fallout with my mother and Annette. They staged the fallout so that I think, and this is the next part of this video, I'm going to say this, and in the video, I'm going to say this. Given the fact that I think they manipulated Annette Funicello into telling the 3 surviving kids you all know about, do not talk to him. I believe they manipulated her because she was sick, frail, fragile. They'd hurt her. And the second thing is that because they got those 3 to sign non-disclosure agreements, Jack Jr., Gina, and Jason, listen to me, guys. We'll never talk in our lifetime. You don't know what to believe. And I don't think my videos are going to convince you of anything. That is what's going to happen. You have to take the word of your mother over mine, then do so. I won't ask you to change that. I'd love to contact with you. I'm always open to it. But guys, I have to believe. I've weighed that one in. I've thought long and hard about it. And plus, they've got agents hanging around you. Between me, it's like a chess game with the CIA. They've got, I'm here, there's somebody here that you deal with. I'm talking to you 3. And then there's you 3 sitting here. So this is always going to be your go-but. There's always going to be in the middle in this chess game. They're always going to cut. They're going to be lying to you, saying whatever. Plus, there's going to be the emotional issue of dealing with a lost brother. 4 points to ponder with that nail this casket tight, closed, and put it in the ground of ever having contact with you. Ladies and gentlemen, I do not believe that I will ever have contact with that family in my life. They will remain silent until we're all dead. We'll all grow old and die, that's it. I can't say if they want the contact or not. I'm not saying they're rejecting me, but I've given you 4 reasons why they probably won't, ever. Chief among those reasons is our own mother telling them, you know, do not talk to him, would be a hell of an impact on anybody's psyche. Well, we don't know what's going on here. I mean, you know, why did he talk to her in her lifetime? I did. She called me in 1999, and I said, please call me at my apartment. I said, how'd you get this number? Well, she called the lady in Texas who got the number in the apartment. In the apartment, my wife was sitting there, who remembers that call, even today. Plus, my job had a caller ID in that system. And it was a very advanced system in 99. It was a big, big company. And my security team came back to me. And they were a bunch of assholes. You know, they had the piece of the printout paper. It said Bakersfield, California, had the address, phone number, and everything, where the call came from. And they said, we thought you were from Texas. What are you doing getting a call like this from Bakersfield? So the proof is sitting right there, folks. It's right there. Who else would make that call from Glenn and Annette's home then? For 17 minutes? Do you mean like I talked to the catering staff, the carers, the nurses? What the? Why would I be hanging out with them? I can, even that company's around today, I could run down there now and get that piece of paper. It's 20, I'd have to pay 20 for that. But I'd have that in my hand, and I'll have in my hand their actual home address and phone number. And I'm not that would matter now. Yeah, it was her wish this went out there, but they are very professional people that have cut between this. Don't kid yourself not. Just because I can make these videos, it's only because of circumstances that have led, like a domino effect, to the point where you're getting me here. And that's it. It's not because, you know, this is a very organized thing. I mean, this is a very amateuristic video on a tablet. And, you know, I'm sitting here with a head full of memories and heartache over all this, but there's nothing that can be done. And I'm officially saying that they have won that battle of keeping the family out of my life. They have beaten me. But they've also beaten Annette. And whatever she's told them, that wasn't her intention. Was for it to end like this. Because John Q. Public, even she knew with all her professional skills in her life, this would be the worst case scenario for her. She wanted me to say this after her life. I think she was thinking that this would help people in Hollywood, that would have be reaching people out there who are going through this now. That is helping. Okay, then that'll work. But worst case, yeah, she always felt there'd be people. The family would then reach across and say, okay, let's talk to him. But that's how she was talking in 1992. But then they see I'm in England, and they go on stage of Fallout in 99. But they've won that battle. It's over. I'm out for good. You know, and I'm a professional with public relations enough to know. I'm professional enough to sit here and tell you that when they've beaten you, and you've got to say it. And they have beaten me. I'm never going to get back to that family. Ever. It will be like I'll be struck. I have a better chance of getting struck by lightning on a clear day. I got better chances of winning the lottery twice in 1 month. I got better chances of walking on water. But believe me, guys, this is genuine stuff, and it's not nice. You know, I'd love to be. This isn't like one of those TV shows, a happy ending, everyone gets to meet and have a cheerful. I can't. They won't let me. They're very professional, very cunning people in the agency. I give them, hey, a foe in battle will wave up and see that flag go up and say, you got me there. Okay, you got that one. You've got them. You goddamn you, you've got them. But you didn't get me.